everyone. Today we are going to start our fifth chapter, that is breathing deeply, of class 5th. Now in this chapter, let us first understand the process of breathing. The process of breathing is basically a process of inhaling the air which is rich in oxygen and exhaling the air which is rich in carbon dioxide. It is basically known as breathing. Now, first topic is how do we breathe? Now, since breathing is very important for our life, as we require oxygen that is useful for converting food into energy, so breathing is important. Now, breathing process includes basically two sub processes, that is, first is inhalation and second is exhalation. Inhalation means breathing in air which is rich in oxygen. That means breathing oxygen. That is known as inhalation. Now here, oxygen is important for producing energy, as I have already told you, for producing energy from the food which we eat in our daily life. Now, how we breathe in the oxygen? We take the air from our nose, then the oxygen goes through the windpipe and reaches into the lungs. Now lungs, these are a bag-like structures present in our body. These lungs are protected by a rib cage. Rib cage is a structure made of bones where 12 pairs of bones are present. Now these 12 pairs of bones are curved bones. From the front part, these bones are attached to the breastbone, which is also called as the sternum, and from the back side, these rib bones are attached to the backbone. Now this rib cage also protects our heart. As it protects our lungs, similarly it also protects the heart. Now below these lungs is present a strong muscle which is called as diaphragm, and this diaphragm plays an important role in our breathing system. Now what happens here is, when we breathe in the air, the lungs gets filled with the air, and hence the diaphragm which is present just below the lungs, it gets pushed downwards because the lungs have increased in the size. But when we exhale the air outside, this diaphragm comes back to its position, pushing out the air, and hence the carbon dioxide from the lungs comes out from the nostril. Now this is what happens in the movement of diaphragm, which we also called as contraction and relaxation process of diaphragm, which helps in breathing and breathing processes. That includes inhalation and exhalation. Now exhalation is basically breathing out of the air which is rich in carbon dioxide. The cells of our body has accumulated the carbon dioxide, and through this exhalation process it comes out of the body. Now let us understand this breathing process through the diagram. As you can see this diagram, this is the respiratory system of human being. When we inhale the air which is rich in oxygen from our nose, it goes into the windpipe. As you can see, this is the windpipe. It goes through the windpipe and reaches the lungs. These two are the lungs in which the air goes. Now here you can see the diaphragm. When the air goes into the lungs, the size of lungs increases, and hence this diaphragm moves downwards. And when we exhale the air outside, which is rich in carbon dioxide, then this diaphragm gets back to its position and pushes the lung, so that the carbon dioxide present in these two lungs gets a push and it moves out of the body. So this is how the breathing system works. Now let us see the rib cage diagram. Here you can see this is the rib cage. In one side the rib cage has been shown, on the other side rib cage is not shown, but it is similar to this only. Now here you can see these are the ribs. These are basically the bones. These are 12 pairs in one side, and on the other side also 12 bones are there, so it completes as 12 pairs. Now here you can see the rib cage. At the front part, it is attached to the sternum, or you can say the breastbone. on the back side, it is at these bones are attached to the backbone. Now here you can also notice the thing that the lungs are present inside this rib cage. So hence this rib cage protects the lungs, and here at this part our heart is present. So the rib cage protects our lung as well as the heart of our body. Now as you can see in this diagram, the important thing which I am going to tell you is, you can see here, carefully see here, you can see this is the left side of a human being. So the left lung of a human being is little smaller than the right one. So it is a question, now which lung is smaller? So the left lung is a bit smaller than the right lung. So that was about the breathing process. Now next topic is about breathing speed. Now normally when we are not doing any kind of work, we breathe normally. But as we start doing some kind of activities, our breathing speed also changes. It depends on the kind of activities we perform. Like if we are running, if we are walking, then our breathing speed will change. If we are running, then our breathing speed will become very fast. Why? Because at that time we require more energy to run. For more energy, we require more oxygen, which we get from inhaling. So at that time we require to breathe fast. So this is why our breathing speed changes when we do different kind of activities. Now here, because the blood carries oxygen to all the parts of the body, and the oxygen from all parts of the body comes to the heart, and then it goes out through the lungs and it is exhaled out. Now here the controlling part is our heart. It pumps the blood. It takes the blood which is rich in oxygen. It transports the blood which is rich in oxygen to all parts of the body, and it takes the blood which contains the carbon dioxide and transfer it to the lungs, and then through lungs the carbon dioxide is exhaled out of the body. Now normally the heart beats 72 times in a minute, but when we do any kind of physical work, like where we are running or we are walking, then this speed becomes faster. Now for the doctors use an instrument called stethoscope to hear the heartbeats. Through this they can detect whether a person is sick or not. When the speed, normally when you are not doing any kind of work, but still your heartbeat is more than 72 times in a minute, then the doctor can detect you are sick or not. Now next is about breath is hot and humid. Now our breath is hot and humid. This is the fact given, but how do we prove this? Now our normal body temperature is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit. The F denotes here is Fahrenheit. Now this is the normal body temperature in Fahrenheit, 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, or in Celsius we can say that it is 37 degrees Celsius. So this is the normal body temperature. Now when we in summers, if we blow out the air into our palm, then we will feel it as cold. But if we try to blow out the air in winter season, we will feel the breath as warm. Why? Because in winters the outer temperature is lower than our body temperature, which is 37 degrees centigrade. So this is why we can prove that our breath is warm. And how we can prove that the breath is humid? For this you need to blow out air in front of a mirror. You must have done this before also. In winter season we usually blow out the air in front of the mirror. The mirror becomes cloudy. You can see a small water droplets present on the mirror. That shows that our breath contains of water vapor which condenses when it comes in contact with the cold mirror. So these two activities proves that our breath is hot and humid. Now next topic is how our breath helps us. Now what happens, sometimes we get burned. Now at that time the first thing we do is we blow out the air from our mouth onto that particular burnt area. Now why do we do so? This is because the burnt area has more temperature, so it feels more hot. In comparison to that, our breath is cooler. So when we blow air, suppose at this portion on my hand I have got burnt, and this will become more hot, and if I will blow air onto it, the air will collect some moisture from around the air, from around this area, and that moisture, the moisture basically is the water droplets, or you can say the water vapor, and this water vapor makes the breath more cooler, and we will feel cool at this particular burnt area. So this is why we blow out air at a burnt area to feel cool. And next is we blow on a hot cup of tea to cool it. This is normal, very normal. We used to do it daily whenever we used to drink any hot drinks like tea or milk or coffee. So we first used to blow out air on the cup so that the tea or the coffee or the milk, it gets cooled down. The next is, in winter season we blow out the air on our palms so that our palms become warm and we can easily do our work. Because in winters we feel cold and our fingers, our hand gets stiff. If we are going to write something, our fingers get stiff. So by rubbing it against each other or by blowing air on our palms, we will feel warm. Now next is, in villages, the women who used to cook on chulhas, they used to blow air into the chulha to make the cow dung pieces or the wood pieces burn. How does this happen? When the woman blows out air on the piece of wood, she indirectly increasing the oxygen supply to that piece of wood. Now the oxygen helps the fire to burn. So here conclusion comes that oxygen is very much important for burning anything, a piece of paper, a wood or a cow dung piece, anything. Basically for burning, oxygen is necessary. So cooking on chulhas, women used to prefer blowing out air so that at that particular area, on that particular piece of wood, the oxygen supply will increase and it will help the piece of wood to burn. Now next is breathe well. The next topic. Now breathing well, as we have till now understanding all these topics, we have learned that breathing is very much important for us to live. It gives us energy. It helps in converting the energy. Which we get from the food. So it should be taken in care that how we are breathing. We should ensure that we are breathing in properly. Now, there are some points which we should remember. Like first is, always breathe through nose. We have fine hairs present in our nostrils, which prevents the dust particles coming into our lungs, which can enter our lungs. So always breathe through the nose, and we should never breathe through our mouth, as mouth do not contain hairs which can lead dust particles to directly enter our lungs, and this will create some damage to our lungs. Next is, never cover your head while sleeping. When you are sleeping, if you will cover your head through a blanket, what will happen? The oxygen which is present inside the blanket, at certain point of time it will get used up, and only the carbon dioxide which we exhale will be inside the blanket. Now the next time you will inhale the air, you will inhale the carbon dioxide only, because oxygen has been finished inside the blanket. So that is why it is important to never cover your head when you are sleeping, so that you can get enough supply of oxygen to your body. Now next is go walk early morning. Now you must have seen in the night time the traffic is very slow, only a few vehicles move, so that's why the atmosphere in the night time cleans up. So early in the morning the air we breathe in is very fresh and is clean. So that's why it is preferred to go for a walk in early morning, so that you can breathe in fresh air. Next is do some breathing exercises. These deep breathing exercises helps you to get enough supply of oxygen into your body, and that will help you throughout the day. Now this was all about the breathing, how you should breathe, and the whole chapter about breathing deeply. So I hope you have understood it well. So if you have any doubt, you can let me know in the comment box. If you like the content and you have understood it well, please like the video and do subscribe it for more videos. Thank you.